What's up, Radio Shade Tree Surgeon here, and it's time to tie up some loose ends. Boys, I don't know if that'll ever get old. California quiet! Okay, let's finish up the CBX 1000. If you guys remember, the CBX 1000 was our previous giveaway bike donated by Matt White from Ampere EV. Good man Matt donated his dream bike that he had. He's done pretty well for himself. Ampere EV is an amazing company. I'll have a link to it down below. And he wanted to do something amazing for Forgotten Angels, so he donated his CBX 1000 so we could raffle it off. 100% of the proceeds went to Forgotten Angels, and my man Tip Cat won this motorcycle, and he's coming down here to ride it back to Tennessee. And while this motorcycle was about as close to mint as you'd want to get and still ride it around, close to mint ain't mint. I'm gonna do some work on the rear brakes before I send Tip Cat home on it. It'll just make me feel a lot better. Although I don't know if anyone else will feel better knowing that Shade Tree Surgeon worked on their brakes. Really like how Honda put these little rubber feet on the bottom of this. Makes you feel good about setting it down and not scratching the paint. What does Joe the Mountain Jedi say? Never use an open-ended wrench on a bleed screw. Well, someone didn't follow that advice. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put my chances at getting that bleed screw out of there while the brake caliper is still on the motorcycle. Not super. Oh, did it just break loose? Yes, it did. Oh, hell yeah. I thought I was gonna have to take this whole thing out. Well, that is awesome. Well, I've got another bleed screw to throw in here. That is a bit of good news. I thought I was gonna have to scavenge a brake caliper off my V65 over here, which I didn't want to do because I hate pulling parts off of bikes. Okay, let's see if we can remember the Joe method of doing this. I would like to be able to put the stuff he does into practice. Let's try Joe's method of shoving some fluid back in there. Whoa, that was a ton of bubbles on that one. There we go, we're getting a pedal now. Now that it's ready to go, there's really only one single thing left. You might be saying, of course there's only one thing left to do. The only thing left to do is to give it to its new owner, Tip Cat. Well, isn't that a cute thought? But it's wrong! Yeah, Tip Cat ain't here yet, baby! And before he comes to pick this sucker up, you can bet I'm gonna get my last pound of flesh out of the CBX. I wouldn't be surprised if I never got to ride one of these again ever in my life. Another one of those motorcycles I really didn't want to give up. I wanted to keep it so bad, but it wasn't mine to keep. It was Matt's to give, and although Matt did offer to sell it to me at probably the price of the century that no CBX should ever have been sold for, like I am a fool for not doing it, an absolute idiot for not taking him up on the price. I don't even want to say it because people will just be mad at me. Needless to say, it wasn't very much money, and that's why I had it for a little while I manfully grappled with the moral quandary of whether to take him up on it before I finally decided that it could do a lot more good for Forgotten Angels than it would with me owning it. That was not an easy decision to make because, once again, I doubt that deal will ever in a million years ever come up for me for a CBX 1000 ever again, but sacrifices must be made. And it's not that much of a sacrifice. Like, oh, boo-hoo, I don't get a motorcycle. Come on, man. That's just me being a dickhead. That doesn't mean I'm not going to enjoy my last couple days with it, though. The gentleman's weapon, the CBX. Man, just what a cool freaking motorcycle. I am jealous. But I have a mean, spiteful, petty, jealous little heart that yearns and desires everything that comes in front of me. So that's not that weird that I'm jealous. It's a very familiar feeling for me. Anyway, I don't want to beat it up too much. He does have to make it back to Tennessee, although with 12,000 miles on the clock, I'd ride this thing literally anywhere without a second thought. I guess that's not saying much coming from me because I'll do that with just about anything, but still, I have no doubt in my mind this motorcycle will be just fine. Oh, looking forward to meeting Tip Cat. And as much as I'm going to miss this bike, I'm also looking forward to him removing this temptation from my life. This bike is too nice for me to be thrashing like this. Start to feel bad after a while. Let's go ahead and switch to a bike that nobody else technically owns yet. Well, compared to most Brapstar order load-ups, that's downright anticlimactic. Though this is one of the nicest bikes that I've ever done a Brapstar delivery on. The Milwaukee 8 Ultra Limited, David Tyler's personal bike, the three-way stretch breathable fabric cargo pants of motorcycles. It might be dad jeans, but it's dad jeans supreme, that's for damn sure. And while this motorcycle isn't technically mine, it's not even technically David's, it is David's. David has offered up this Milwaukee 8 Harley Davidson, this Ultra Limited, his own personal motorcycle to be raffled off for Forgotten Angels. I think that David does enough already. David and Cindy obviously do the most. They do more than anybody, but David said he's been inspired by everybody who's donated money, people who've donated their motorcycles, and he wanted to put his own bike up, the nicest thing he's ever owned, in his words, the nicest thing he's ever owned outside of his pickup truck. And he goes, you know what, it just feels like the right thing to do because so many people sacrifice so many things to help the mission that he just doesn't feel right having something this nice. Trust me, I tried to get him to keep it, like everybody tried to get him to keep it, but once David's mind is made up, there's little that'll talk him out of it. Oh hey, whoever wins this will be able to say that they own a previous weapon of war, a mighty iron steed that went out to do battle on behalf of Shade Tree Surgeon and Brapstar with the USPS, a named sword that struck at the very do-gooder heart of the... Actually, no, we can't do that. David's too nice. David's a goody two-shoes, so we can't go out and do evil deeds on David's bike, okay? We gotta be nice, so we're gonna go out and we're gonna be very nice to the USPS today. We're calling it a truce for today because we're on David Tyler's motorcycle. Anything David Tyler owns just wasn't made for dirty deeds done dirt cheap. You gotta be nice. What's really crazy about this bike is not that it's just so nice and not that David donated it. All that stuff is wild. Although, if you know David, it's not that weird that he donated it. That's just what David's like. David's always willing to make sacrifices, man. And I'm not encouraging anybody out there to do the same thing. David had a previous life where he did well for himself. He can afford to sacrifice this motorcycle. I'm not trying to encourage someone out there who can't afford to sacrifice either money or things or whatever to help somebody who has less than them. If you can't afford to do so, please don't do that. That would make all of us feel horrible. David's always the type to lead by example, but he ain't trying to encourage anyone to reach outside their means, okay? Now, the craziest thing about this is that we're giving away that FXR, we're giving away the BMW, obviously, but this Milwaukee 8 Ultra Limited, this is a pretty nice-ass motorcycle. And right now, with the amount of people who have bought raffle tickets, you have a 1 in less than 200 chance. That's how many people have entered. So that's crazy, dude. I always say you got better chances than a scratch-off to win one of these bikes, but this is your... Oh, dude, I did the math wrong. It's a better odds than 1 in 200 because we're giving away 3 motorcycles. So 1 in 200, I guess it's 3 in 200? I don't know how math works or how odds work. I just know how many people have entered. Maybe somebody out there who's a little better at figuring out them little triangles, facts and figures and all those things can tell me what the odds actually are if 200 people have entered and we're giving away 3 motorcycles. Math kind of lost me when they started putting letters in it too. I never got it after that. I failed geography in high school. Remember, kindler, gentler Brapstar. David's watching. Oh, wait, we're being nice today, that's right. I mean, I love the USPS. It's my favorite place in the whole wide world. Another successful delivery by the Brapstar Law-Abiding Citizens Club. By golly gee willikers. Yeah, that's more like it. That's what I meant. Doing good deeds out here. Law-Abiding Citizen Club, that's us. Especially if the FBI asks. Well, here's a blast from the past, or maybe you aren't that surprised if you watched the end of last week's video. Sucker still fires right up, though. You can't beat a BMW. At least not these oil heads. This sucker might have 70,000 miles on it, but I would not hesitate to ride it across the country again. Although, technically, I didn't ride this one across the country. I rode the other one that we gave away across the country. Well, I accidentally had the heated hand grips on. Those still work. Actually, a really good reason I'm riding this BMW today. Besides that, it's just a nice bike, and we're also giving it away. You guys watched the end of Sunday's video, you know that I was going to sell this bike, but I decided instead that we'll go ahead and pick a ticket early from the raffle to win both David's Milwaukee 8 Ultra Limited and the Bad Boy FXR, and someone's going to get the BMW. Now, is the BMW as nice as the other two bikes? No, it's not, but it's still a really nice bike that I know for a fact will make it cross country, or at least most likely will. Did it one time without incident. Not only that, but whoever wins this bike, whoever's name we pull this coming Friday, you'll also get a one-way plane ticket to Tampa, or I guess a round trip if you don't feel like riding the BMW back. But if you want to ride it back home, we'll get you a one-way plane ticket to Tampa and enough gas money to get you back home wherever home happens to be. And you know our motto, come on vacation, leave on probation, baby. Whoever wins this BMW, when we send you home with the bike, we're also going to be sending you home with a wicked hangover. So even if this old oilhead BMW ain't your thing, well, you're still going to get to hang out with us for a weekend of riding, fun, and fishing. Request Cami Bay as the captain of the boat at your own risk. Link to buy those tickets down below. As always, 100% go to benefit Forgotten Angels in their fight to end the cycle of abuse in the foster care system. But that is only one reason that I'm riding this BMW today. The other reason is I'm on my way to the Dirty Shame to celebrate Richard's 73rd birthday party. Now, if you're watching this and you're a regular at the Shame, it is no surprise to you that I would choose to ride the BMW to Richard's birthday party. But if you don't know, Richard was my mentor for years and years and years at the Dirty Shame, taught me everything I know about business, gave me a leg up in the bar industry when I was a 21-year-old kid. I've also probably put more miles down with Richard on motorcycles than anybody else on earth, and most of those miles were with Richard not on an RT, but on an Oilhead RS, the Randy Mandel version. Richard put well over 100,000 miles on that motorcycle before he upgraded to a new R1250 RS, and he's well on his way to putting like 40,000 miles on that thing. If anybody is a testament to how much you can flog one of these old 1100 or 1150 Oilheads, it's Richard Boone, because he rode that motorcycle literally every single day. And the only reason he stopped riding his old R1150 RS is because the clutch finally gave out on it, and he certainly could have replaced it, but he finally said at like well over 100,000 miles that he was ready to treat himself to an upgrade and got the new R1250. Maybe one of these days we'll have to pull that old Randy Mandel edition out of retirement. Who knows? Let me know down below if you've ever been to one of Richard's infamous birthday parties. There's been several very, very infamous ones. I think that the 66 whippings administered by Jen from Jenna Torturers and a whiskey-soaked crotch, that comes to mind as a memorable one. When you wake up face down on the pool table the next morning and think you pissed your pants because your crotch is damp, and then you thank your lucky stars when you smell it and realize it's just scotch. That's how you know you had a pretty good party. Now, at 73, I don't know if old Richard Boone is going to party that hard, but I imagine it'll still be a show. Every year for his birthday, they put as many car bombs on the bar as years he's been alive. And 73 might be a lot of car bombs, but every other year we've done it, we've had to put way more car bombs on the bar than years he's been alive. This time is probably no exception. Ybor City, baby. If you hang out in Ybor, you definitely know who Richard Boone is. One of those things that I can't help but think of Richard when I hear one of these bikes. As the old saying goes, you recognize the sound of your friend's bike. And for me, forever and ever and ever, the sound of a boxer twin and a motorcycle will forever sound like Richard Boone. Unsurprisingly, behind the Dirty Shame, it's packed.
Cheers. Here's all friends, old and new. Appreciate you guys. Happy birthday, Richard! Yeah, gone in 15 seconds. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Girlfriend came over to pick up some gloves and a helmet, and everyone's yelling at me for teaching her how to ride a motorcycle with no helmet on starting, which is okay. Yeah, it looked really good, I thought. It looked awesome. I might have sucked her comb later, but my very limited, very suspect teaching skills, don't worry about them any longer. She's now in the hands of Bert's Barracuda and an official MSF course instructor.
Yay!
So come here in a couple days. She's gonna be official.
I hope so. I hope I pass.
Now all you need is a motorcycle. I wonder where you could find one of those.
I don't know. Maybe.
Maybe me. I don't know. It depends on how you ask. And last but most definitely not least, the Baywatch FXR, the bad boy, the 113 cubic inch SNS FXR. I am so excited to ride this thing. I'm so excited to ride it that I'm not going to spend any more time talking about it. Yes, this is a raffle bike. Yes, you can win it for 25 bucks. Yes, it's really fast and dangerous. Oh yeah. This is overdue. Just like Barf Party, trust me, you do not want to forget the compression releases. Oh, this bitch is bad, dude. Yeah, I like this a lot. Sometimes only a big twin will do. And I guess they make bigger engines than the 113 SNS. It ain't the biggest boy on the block anymore, but let me tell you what, those 113 cubic inches, they're hot, baby. They're real hot. Don't think that that's gonna lose to a 114. Not a chance. Especially not in an FXR. It might be raked out low, long, and mean, but it's still an FXR, and it still handles like a razor blade. You gotta love it. That's the big difference between building a bad boy bike on the Softail platform, which a lot of guys did, and trust me, they're still fun, and building it on the FXR platform is you get both, dude. You still get all the handling out of it. You might need to build a seat with a little bit of a bolster, baby. This thing shoots and gets, man. It's got a sissy bar for the passenger, but I need one. Damn, this thing is bad as hell. Oh, dude, this is the one I don't want to give up. This is what's hard for me. Will someone please feel bad for Shade Tree Surgeon? Poor Shade Tree Surgeon. He gets to ride all these amazing, cool motorcycles and have them in his possession, and then he has to selflessly give them up when somebody wins them for charity. Oh, the humanity of it all. It just isn't fair. God, won't somebody spare a thought for poor Shade Tree Surgeon? It's hard, I won't lie to you. It's hard being humble. It's hard to be humble when you're built like an athlete. You got the brain of a scientist, you know, but somehow I manage. And I still manage to give all these bikes up, you know. It's just, I find it within the goodness of my heart somehow. And I just feel like, you know, not enough people are talking about that. They're not talking about how hard it is for me to let these things go. Bro, I'm telling you, I gotta believe the back brakes are not working, but I am telling you, now that this thing is running, there is nothing I want to do besides ride this bike. This thing is bad to the freaking bone. I don't know what y'all would pick if you guys won the raffle. I can't buy a ticket to the raffle, but I know for damn sure what I would pick. Let's get those back brakes worked out, because let me tell you what, with this motorcycle, you need all the brakes you can get. Where I just left you was in Tampa. We were talking about the 3 different raffle bikes. That raffle is coming up on Friday here in a couple days. If you're just seeing this video, that means it's Wednesday, but right now it's Sunday. I know they say Saturday is for the boys, but in this case, Sunday's for the boys and Sunday's for working on motorcycles. We're sitting here with Sugar Tree Jay in Oregon.
Welcome back, buddy.
We're gonna be back in Oregon a lot more here coming up pretty soon. More on that later. I don't like to count my chickens before they're hatched. I don't like to smoke the joints before they're rolled, baby, but there's a lot of big stuff happening right now, so stay tuned. Anyway, my man Sugar Tree Jay just bought this absolutely phenomenal garage-kept, barn-find, shovel-head tour glide. We're about to make this thing run again because summertime's coming up here in Oregon. Let me tell you what, we've got a lot of very, very cool stuff planned, but before we can do any of this stuff, we got to get this shovel head running.
A little bit of work, but we're gonna knock this out. This can be running by the end of the day.
I think it'll be running by the end of the day.
I do too.
One way or another, it'll make a sound, but that is a story for the next video. That's gonna about do it for this one. Make sure you're subscribed, make sure you have notifications on, because we got a lot of big stuff coming up. And if you're in Oregon, or I can't exactly recommend this, but in any of the surrounding states that's close to a border town in Oregon, you know what I'm talking about. Keep your eyes open and keep your eyes peeled on this channel and our Instagram. Make sure you're following Sugar Tree Farms on Instagram as well, because there's a lot of really cool stuff coming out. Till next time, y'all, keep it weird.
Crashing through the sky comes a fearful cry. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Armies of the night, evil taking flight. Shade tree, army. Shade tree, army. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Panic spreading far and wide. give up, they never say die, walking tall with banners high. Shade Tree Army, a ruthless gang of scum, villains, freaks, and bikers determined to rule the world.